Well, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the KS Moto Cafe. For today's episode, I want to talk a little bit about the Iron 883. And you'll notice that I've been talking a lot more about my Iron 883, and it's because now that I have ridden this motorcycle for 1 year, I feel like I have a bit more credibility on talking about this motorcycle and kind of give you guys what I like and what I don't like. So if you guys want to just see the summary of the entire frame of this motorcycle, then go click on my 1 year review of the Iron 883. For this particular episode, I want to talk about how this motorcycle performs on the highway and whether or not I feel that this bike is underpowered compared to the other motorcycles I have ridden, which is like the Sportster 1200s and some of the Softails. So the question is whether or not the Sportster Iron 883 is big enough or powerful enough to stay relevant on the highway, or at least be safe on the highway. And my short answer is yes, and really it depends on how you decide to ride your motorcycle. If you want to ride your motorcycle at crazy speeds where you're going way beyond the legal speed limit, then yeah, most likely you're not going to have too much fun on the Iron 883. And the other factor is whether or not you ride with a group or just riding solo. Because for me, I enjoy riding solo. And I don't have to deal with keeping up with any other bigger bikes or faster bikes out there. I don't have to deal with going in staggered formations so that I have enough room to maneuver and be able to make the corners in a line that I wanted to go to. And this was my first bike, so for me to start out on this bike and then going on the highway pretty much on my first week of riding, it was a lot to take. But let me tell you, when I first started riding my Iron without touching any other motorcycles, it felt pretty fast, and speed is very relative to the rider. If you have never ridden a motorcycle before or motorized two wheels, like being on a scooter might feel fast for you. When I was on the MSF and I got on one of the 250cc cruisers for the training bike, going like 30-40 kilometers per hour for the first time was pretty exciting. But after owning this motorcycle and going on the highway and going over 100 kilometers per hour or 60 miles per hour for the first time, holy crap, I was definitely having a lot of adrenaline in my blood. But once you get used to it, it's fine. Like everything else started to settle in and you start building up a lot more confidence on the road. And that's what I want to talk about. So when I'm on the highway with my Iron 883, I don't feel like I'm underpowered at all. I'm able to keep up with other motorists on the road, and most of the times I'm actually going faster than them. Now, will it accelerate fast for you to get out of some trouble? That's kind of the area I would say it's kind of lacking. It's got a lot of good low-end torque, which is perfect for stop and go traffic. But once you're on the highway and you're up to like 100 kilometers per hour speed, for you to actually get up to like 120 and 140, you need a bit more horsepower at the end. And the Iron 883 doesn't really have that. So I would say it is lacking on the high-end power, because after about 5,000 RPMs on the Iron 883, you definitely lose the horsepower and torque and it just drops off. And it is a 5-speed motorcycle, so you're pretty much hitting that 5th speed pretty early on. And for you to climb up any higher than 120 kilometers per hour or 140, you are really working that 5th gear. But rarely do I actually go those speeds on the highway, or if I need to, because the highway that I go on, as you can see right now, is always jammed up. But when the highways are clear, I do get up to about 120, 130 kilometers per hour. I don't feel too underpowered on that end. Now, when I do approach about the 130 and 140 kilometers per hour, I do end up feeling some of the speed wobble. And if you guys want to know what that's like and how to get out of it, do watch my video about giving you guys some explanation on what a death wobble, speed wobbles are, and how to get out of it. But one of my viewers actually commented on my 1 year video that there is a steering damper that I can actually purchase, and that once you put it on, it actually eliminates the speed wobble at the higher speeds. So I'm actually willing to try that out. If it makes my bike safer on higher speeds, then hell yeah, I would definitely do that. Who wouldn't want to be safe? Fuck, I don't want to have a death wobble, because I can definitely feel the speed wobble building up when I'm about 140 kilometers per hour on this bike. But anything else, I actually feel pretty good on it. And because I was a new rider and having to conquer my fears of being on the highway, having mid controls and having really comfortable riding ergonomics was definitely key for my success as a motorcyclist. So for those videos out there or opinions out there saying that the Iron 883 is not powerful enough or big enough for the highway, I mean, it's up to the rider, but for me, I found it to be all right on the highway. Like, I don't feel any lesser as a rider on the Iron 883 compared to any other bikes that I've ridden. Like, it's still a lot of fun on the highway. Now, let me tell you a situation where I don't like having the Iron 83 on the highway, and that is when I'm riding with a friend, or as I indicated earlier, if I want to get out of a situation where I'm already going around 100 kilometers per hour and I need to accelerate out of it. Now, when I started riding the other 1200 series or the Softail models, I can definitely tell you that there's a drastic difference in terms of power delivery between the Softails or the 1200s compared to the Iron 883. And that should be pretty obvious because the power difference is pretty much like either 40% more than the Iron 883 or more than double the size of displacement if you're looking at the Softails. So yeah, I mean, it definitely makes a difference on the highway in terms of comfort and confidence on being able to maneuver out of hairy situations and accelerating out of situations. But in all likeliness, I think I can ride this Iron 883 for a while on the highway. The only issue I would say is more of the physical aspects of it, where the seat isn't very comfortable, the rear shocks aren't that great, and you are fighting with a lot of wind. So in that case, like, there's a lot of rider's fatigue that builds up as you ride, so I don't see myself riding longer than 2 hours at a time until I feel like I'm getting tired of riding. So in a nutshell, if you're a rider who will be riding solo most of the time and will most likely stay within the rules of the road where you're not going to go crazy speeds on the highway, then I would say that this Iron 883 will be okay for you. Now, would I feel a little bit better if I had bit more displacement on this motorcycle? Yes. I mean, I do kind of wish I had the 1200 kit or the 1250 kit from Hammer Performance or Speed and Strength, but that's not an option for me right now because I can't afford to. But if I had the chance to do it, I definitely would. But other than that, if you have an Iron 883 or had experience of Iron 883, comment below on how you found it on the highway, because I know there's a lot of opinions out there for this. Other than that, ride safe, ride prepared, ride on. Peace.